Okay, guys. So the workflow. Anybody? Any other inputs? What is workflow means? Yeah. So let me tell you one thing. You have, for example, purchased some object through this e-commerce site. Okay, online. The moment you purchase and your payment is done, you will get a message, a text message onto your mobile, registered mobile number, and as well as a mail, an email onto your registered mail ID, isn't it? And they keep sending you emails with the status. How long they send the emails? What will be the last status of your email? I mean, the email sent to you. Hierarchical manner. Okay. But my question, are you clear with my question? How long? How many emails? I mean, what will be the last email you get to your inbox about the product of anything you purchased?
Feedback.
Yeah, that is one feedback. And before that, I expected that answer. Before that,
Survey.
no, not that survey. It's about the object you purchased. Feedback and survey mean the same, right? Both things means the same. The status of the object delivered to you, yeah, delivery data. The object is delivered to you or not, right? So the moment you receive your object, they say, okay, the order has been uh, delivered to you, something like that. So for you, it only matters whether your object has reached you or not, and that is in a good condition or not. Okay, but for the people, or the company people, or the people who are trying to send that, for them, the e-commerce site, for them, it is little different. They only consider that the order is been successful, or the work is completed successfully about that particular order or whatever it is, based on a particular flow chart, a diagram, a method, a step-by-step process, a step-by-step process. So the step-by-step process is nothing but the moment your payment is successful, there will be a workflow diagram created behind the screen, and that is sent to warehouse. So looking at the sheet, they will just go step by step, one after the other. What is the first process, and next what is to be done, and then after that what is to be done. So they should have an hierarchy, as Srikanth said. It's okay, I can consider that. So first thing is what they will send it to the warehouse, saying find for the object. The object is find by somebody, and once they find the object, that is checked by somebody whether it is in a good condition or not. Everything is checked, and after once it is checked, it will be sent to the next team to wrap it up. And once it is wrapped properly, okay, packed, then another team will label the address on that. And after once the address is pasted or labeled on that, then it will be sent to the next team to the courier team to parcel it to the respective address. Once it's parceled, Then they track whether it is reached to the person who ordered it. I'm sorry guys. And once finally they find that the object is completely safely reached to the person who ordered it, then they consider the diagram, the workflow is completed successfully. Once the workflow is completed successfully, they consider, the object is reached the person's control exactly without any barriers. Then they consider the workflow is completed and the next workflow will start. So this is actually what happens with respect to any e-commerce site and anything which needs to be delivered, whether it is a service or anything, and how that workflow is formed here. What is it? Able to hear me, right? Yeah, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let's see few details or simple few points about simple workflow service, SWF service. So workflow service for coordinating application components. So I just told you some example based on your e-commerce site, but it is also used to application components, whether they are functioning properly or not, whether whatever the output is needed reaching to the people or not. That's been tested. So that's good. And it's actually a web service. A workflow service is actually a web service that makes it easy to coordinate work across distributed applications components. Okay. Wherever the applications are, applications work with the distributed components. For such kind of things, the workflow diagrams are created to coordinate them and their functionality. And it also enables applications for a range of use cases, including media processing, web application, backend processes, business processes, workflows, and analytics pipelines. So for various purposes, I'm going to list them again. Like these are just simple examples I'm giving you, but it can be used for various purposes. Like it enables applications for a range of use cases, including media processing, web application backend processing, business process workflows, and analytics. Business is nothing but what this e-commerce sites, I can just tell you. Analytics pipelines to be designed as a coordination of tails. Okay, so that is how this is used. And the example, as I said, it's to understand very simply the e-commerce example. It will be the very best example to understand that. Okay, and when we wanted to compare this SWS, it's nothing but simple workflow service, and SQS, the little comparison I would like to make here is SQS has a retention period of 14 days. Okay, SQS has a retention period of 14 days, whereas SWS has a retention period of 1 year for workflow execution. Means if the work is set to be completed also, the workflow remains in your account itself. In the future, if you wanted to check what and all the work is done, how it is done and all, you will still be able to check from these workflows. But what is SQS? We will understand soon after this. Okay. The next is what SQS offers a message-oriented API, whereas SWS presents a task-oriented API. That's a message and this is a task. In SQS, it is just considered, okay, the request is served or not, okay, only a message. But here SWS, whether the work is done or not, whether the required object is parcelled or not. So task oriented, that's SQS message oriented, SWS is task oriented, remember this thing. Then SWS ensures that a task is assigned only once and is never duplicated. Okay, once the object is delivered, that's all, it is said to be completed. It will not be reattempted to send that object repeatedly again and again and again, right? If that happens, that we would be very happy, lucky to get the object. So many things. If I would buy a particular mobile phone which is very costly. Once I spend, I get so many number of mobiles. Right? I'm just finding some sounding some funny, but so only once it is executed and it will not be duplicated. But what happens in SQS is we need to handle duplicated messages and may also need to ensure that a message is processed only once, which means in SQS there is a chance that it may happen again and again. It may go address again and again. So that duplications are to be reduced, listed and reduced. And what else? SWS keep tracking of all the tasks, like I said, whether things are done or not and done on time or not and all. It will have a track of all the tasks and executes an application properly without any issue. That's what SWS does. Whereas SQS, we need to implement our own application level tracking, especially if our application uses multiple queues. Okay. If you have no idea what is SQS, I'll just tell you because do not get confused. SQS is what? When if you have a website and multiple people are trying to use that website, how do you get to know whether everybody requesting to access that website are able to access or not? Okay. If somebody do not able to access, what happens? They think that this website is always down, is not at all reachable. So some bad reviews will come on our website and then people will slowly reduce logging into it. So what we do, we assign an SQS onto that to make sure everybody who's trying to access our site will be able to access the request. All the requests will be placed in a queue and everybody is allowed to get their requested thing without fail, at least for once. So that is what SQS makes sure. Simple queue service. It will take all the requests and make them in a queue and then let it, it makes sure that the requests are addressed at least once. That's what I said. I'm saying that there is a chance of duplicating the request again and again. So we have to focus on that, whether the request is served or not, then fine. So that is the part. So that is what I'm talking about, SQS. I don't worry, we are going to discuss about SQS a little more again. And so that's all about the comparison of SQS and SWS. What will you do is, from the points I have listed, having this video, you make a list of all those comparisons and then keep them in your mind. If somebody asks you, then there may be a chance that these points may be raised in your interviews or certifications, or it may be useful for you guys. So make a note of these points. That's why I have listed all those things. Then simple workflow actors in the sense which make sure that the workflow is properly executed and completed successfully. So those are known as actors. There are three types: workflow starters, okay, and deciders, and the last one is activity workers. So these are the three different actors we have. The first one is workflow starters. What this thing does is an application that can initiate or start a workflow. Okay, what is this workflow starter? It's just an application that initiates or starts a workflow, and it could be an e-commerce website when placing an order, a mobile app, okay, or through a website or through a mobile app, searching for something like if it is, an example can be you're purchasing something, so there will be an application working behind that to start a workflow. Or you are somewhere lost yourself, or you wanted to travel from somewhere to somewhere, so you just opened an application in your mobile and then start searching for something like either train timings or bus timings, how and when these things will start and from where they start and all. So all those information will be provided to you. Even for that, the application, will start a workflow. And what deciders? Deciders actually control the flow of activity tasks in a workflow execution. It's nothing but if something has finished in a workflow, okay, or unfortunately fails, a decider decides what to do next. If it is completed successfully, if the workflow is placed successfully, then it goes to the next one. If it fails, it makes sure that workflow is reattempted again. So this is what deciders does. Then activity workers, they carry out the activity task and make sure things are done with it properly till the end. So these are the three. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you, workflow actors. And in all of these three, can you just tell me which actor is main? Yeah.
SWF.
No, no, no. I'm saying the three actors of SWF, which actor is important for us? You want me to list out all the three actors?
Activity worker.
What it does? It carry out the activity task.
Yeah.
Yeah. What decider does? Decider decides whether the work is finished smoothly or not. If it fails, if it then it re-attempt again. Then workflow status is it's just an application. It starts the flow.
Okay. Deciders.
So which one is the main thing in this?
Decider.
Right, and how do you say that? It's just because activity workers just carry out with the activity task. But what happens if it fails? It consider, okay, I've just executed some task and it is completed. It doesn't matter whether it is failed or success. It only checks whether it is completed or not, it's done or not. But decider is the smart one in all of these things, whether it is completed successfully or not. If it fails, it re-execute it. That's why decider is smart in this. And SWS doesn't involve in an EC2 instance but involves in a human beings and other outside processing. It's nothing but, it is just not something like you like do something over a tool. It is like SWS always is known as involvement of man or humans into that, because the work is said to be done only when somebody go and does it, right? So rather application, we consider human beings into this and this other outside processing. So that is what SWS is meant to for. It is not especially for, it doesn't involve EC2 instances into this. We never have discussed about EC2 instances. Okay, so that is another point. So with this, these are the few points I just wanted to discuss. I mean, I have in my mind to discuss with you guys about simple workflow service. Excuse me. Yeah, and the next one is SQS, Simple Queue Service. So the Simple Queue Service, we're talking about what it does, message queue service. So what it means, message queue service is nothing but it makes sure all the things are addressed at least for once. So simple queue service is nothing but, remember, this is the very first service Amazon has started their cloud in 2016. So Amazon people have started their cloud services in 2016 for the first time with respect to this SQS. So if you guys go for certification, okay, you have to focus a little more on SQS because they may ask you about it. What do you mean by so SQS similar to SQS in S3? No, SQS is not something S3 and all. It is just like, it is something. It is some service which makes sure all the requests, whether you are trying to access some object in S3 bucket, or whether you're trying to access a server and a share provided in that server. Okay, a file system server, a file server is there in your environment and many people are provided access to that and they are trying to access. So you can just keep SQS over there in between to make all these requests in a queue, and you have a web application. So you can have an SQS so that everybody who's trying to access your website, they can be accessed without any issue, at least, you know. So all these purposes we use this. It's not something like S3 or something. It's nothing like that. It's just another separate service. Okay, so but remember, it is a fast service and it's even older than EC2. So it's a web service again that gives us access to a message queue that can be
So
used.
you said the year is 2006?
Yeah, 2006, exactly 10 years back. So a web service, it's actually a web service, as I'm saying, that gives us access to a message queue that can be used to store messages while waiting for a compute to process them. Okay, while waiting for a compute to process them, which means whichever you are trying to access, and you are not the only one, there are many people may access or may trying to access that. So all of those queues or requests are placed in a queue, and make sure some compute or some application picks that, or some process picks that and serve the information needed. So that is what a message queue web service, which gives the access to a message queue, and it is distributed queue system, okay, that enables web service application quickly and reliably with respect to the queue messages that one component in the application generates to be consumed by another component. Don't worry about these wordings. It is just simple that what I have just explained you. but it is distributed among the applications. You can also have this SQS for various things. Next is a queue is a temporary repository, because why do we have to have these messages in our box? Because we already have a logs. Okay, log will always generate whenever somebody is trying to access something, but apart from that, why do we have to have these queues messages, right? So it's again memory captured, so we do not have anything, we don't keep them for a longer period of time. That's the reason why the tool is smartly designed. The service is smartly designed, of course. So a queue is a temporary repository for messages that are waiting, okay, processing. Using SQS, okay, can decouple the components of an application so they run independently. That can also be used. And easing messages management between components. So things our application will function exactly how they have to function, or how they have to respond to the queries, because these messages will make them active and work. Okay, there is a request, you need to address to that. Okay, you go, you function that. So that's what any component of distributed application can be stored messages in a fail state queue. If the message is not addressed, what happens in a certain time limit, because every queue will have, or every message will have a particular time limit. Within that time limit, if it is not addressed, then it just goes to a fail state, and then it will be readdressed again. So messages contain up to 256 kilobytes of text in any format that messages can be. Okay, and any components can later retrieve the messages programmatically using the SQS API, so that at least they are made sure that they serve at least for once. The queue acts as a buffer between the components excuse me, producing and saving data, components receiving the data, processing and all. And finally, SQS ensure delivery of each message at least once and support multiple readers and writers interacting with the same queues. A single queue can be used simultaneously by many distributed application components. That's what I said just before. Components with no need, okay, for those components to coordinate with each other to share the queue. So it's a great to scale our applications. Very good component they have come up with, because you will not know when you requested and when you are going to get the access to that or not. And and somebody else is there, some service is there to make sure to get whatever you wanted. So that's really good, right? So this is what the point is. So SQS is engineered to always be available and deliver messages, and it does not guarantee first in first out delivery. It's not that if we all together request for a particular thing, and if I requested for the first time, maybe the very first minute of an hour, and later on next minute you people are trying to request the same thing, it makes sure, the SQS makes sure everybody's request is validated, but it doesn't make sure first in first service. Which means I have come first, so I should be served first. There is no such rule in this. It will definitely serve everybody's request, but there is no order. So that is the point. Though I came first, my request may addressed in the end, last, after all of your requests are addressed. So that is what. There is no guarantee for first in first out delivery of messages. But each message can stand on its own as long as all the messages are delivered. The order is not important, but the work is done or not is important. That's the point. The order is to be presented, can place sequence information in each message so that we can order the messages when the queue returns them. So once the message is addressed, it will return that, it will release that, considering yes, this is properly addressed. So that is what SQS, and it is smart enough that it always, asynchronously pulls the last messages from the queue. How it does, how it functions, it keep on pulls, pings the message queue, because how does it know whether there are messages waiting or not, whether there are requests waiting or not? So it always keeps pulling uh, uh, those ping, but first it pings. Okay, it keep pings the message queue, and when it finds there are some messages waiting in that queue, and it pulls up those messages. Understand what I'm saying? Pull, and there will be another push. So do not get confused. So this SQS is pull, and it asynchronously pulls the latest messages from the queue. The queue can be easy to instance, consistent, poll, and pulls. Poll, pulls. It polls first and pulls messages. It means first it checks for the messages. If there are any messages found, then automatically they are pulled. Then retrieves the named files, then process the conversions. That's nothing but puts the watermark whether it is completed or not. Write the messages back to S3. Okay, these are the messages and they are addressed properly. Fine. That will be a log. Write a task complete message to the another queue so that the original message, okay, a task message will be deleted. That's what I said it is. It is a temporary repository for the messages. For a log, what it says, it writes a message saying the task is completed, and it mentions to the another queue so that it deletes the original task message and checks for more messages in the worker queue again. So that's what this is smart enough in doing. Okay. Then in component 1, what it does, there will be a visibility timeout. So this is what the thing we need to understand. I said there will be a time for everything, right? So that is known as visibility timeout for a message. So what is that? It retrieves the message and visibility time starts. The moment it pick up the message, it pick any particular message, the visibility time starts. The moment that visibility time starts, within that time complete, it needs to be addressed. That could be somewhere around 45 seconds. Okay, if my knowledge is correct, 45 seconds will be the visibility time. Within that time, it should be addressed. It will only start when application service pick up the message, process the message. Once completed, then delete the message during the visibility time period only. I mean, once it is addressed. If something happens and visibility time period ends and the message is not processed yet, what happens? Then the message will still stay in the queue because it has, what's it? My God, for the first time in my life, I'm suffering from cold this bad. So, what I'm talking about? Yeah, if that message is not addressed in that visibility time, what happens? It is really smart enough that it is considered to stay back in the same queue, and the application server will poll it again and complete that message. So the application server comes into picture here. That's how everything is correlated to one each other, but SQS is smart enough in that. The messages will be deleted only when it is completed. Till then it's not completed. And SQS can also do auto scaling. You remember while we do auto scaling, there were three things like SNS notification, EC2 actions, in alarms, creating alarms, and even in auto scaling, it can send a message alarm. But after once while we creating SS, auto scaling, there we had this object SQS. I don't know whether you noticed it or not. SQS can also do auto scaling. How? If there are many requests are in queue, the load automatically increases. When the load automatically increases, automatically it approach auto scaling. So auto scaling can spin up instances again. So it's not only load balancer. If somebody asks you, is there any other way that we can spin up the instances or auto scaling spin up more instances rather load balancing? Then you can just say there is a possibility that we haven't tried anything yet in that way. Is that SQS? SQS is a queue service which makes sure all the messages are addressed at least for once or all the requests are addressed once at least for once. Um, and when it finds huge amount of requests waiting in the queue, then it also it works with auto scaling and then perform or spin up, make sure auto scaling spin up the instances and all the requests are served. So that's how you can answer. That may be a question asked to you guys. You clear with that what I said? Yeah, guys, you are there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah, good,
Yes, sir.
good, good. So if we wanted to list out SQS is first thing, it can be used with auto scaling is a powerful thing for about highly available environment. Okay, SQS with auto scaling that will become a powerful environment, high availability environment HA. And if you wanted to list out what it does actually is, first thing, it does not offer FIFO. What do you mean by FIFO? First in, first out. There is no such art. You came first, so your request should be addressed first. Nothing like that. Okay. And second thing is that, one second guys, it's troubling me a lot. Welcome. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. Yeah, so what I'm saying, there's no guarantee for FIFO, first in, first out, but it makes sure all the requests are addressed. So you cannot please force me that I have come first or my request is to be addressed first. I can't guarantee that to you. Then this is important. The timeout for all the messages visibility is 12 hours. Okay, understand a little difference here. What I said, SQS has a retention period of 14 days prior to this comparisons between SWS and SQS. Okay, whereas SWS has 1 year of workflow execution, that is retention. But the visibility timeout is what? It's just 12 hours. So only for 12 hours the data, the message visibility time will be there. Okay, that you have to make a note. All the messages are delivered at least once. There is a chance of duplicating the messages again and again, but of course they are at least addressed once or delivered once. Each message can be of 256 kilobytes of size of any format of information in that text or JSON format or any other format message it can be. Then it is always built at 64 kilobytes of chunks. Is a chunk. So 4 chunks per 256 kilobytes message. 64 4s are 256. So 256 kilobytes message is built as 4 chunks. Okay. So one chunk is so much and into 4. That is how it is built. And for a free tier account, first 1 million SQS requests per month are free. Okay, but don't try. You don't know how it's going to work, because there is nothing. You guys have to address it. Then after that, it's not only for free tier, but usually first 1 million SQS requests per month are free, and after that dollars 0.5, it's nothing but 50 cents per 1 million SQS requests per month thereafter. Okay, and a simple request can have from 1 to 10 messages up to maximum payload of 256 kilobytes. So in that 256 kilobytes, you can have at least either one message or two message or the maximum of 10 messages, but one message can be or cumulative of these 10 messages uh, payload or the capacity could be the maximum of 256 kilobytes, and each always charged as 64 chunks of payload in terms of billing as one request. Okay, and one more point you have to remember: whenever you hear something, some word, a particular word, knowing as the word is decoupled, then it is simply SQS. So SQS, when it's mentioned as decoupled, wherever you understand, wherever you hear this word decoupled, understand that the guys are talking about SQS topic. So this is all about SQS, dear.
Sir, can you spell that, sir? Decoupled.
DECOUPLED. You want me to repeat?
Yeah,
DECOU,
that's that.
decoupled means SNS topic.
Okay, sir.
It's all about SQS. It's all about SQS, dear. Anything? Could you follow me? You got the things? If you all are fine, I will go with next topic, SNS. This will be the last topic for today. Yeah? Okay, that's pretty. So
Sir, what
SNS.
about this Sir, what about this SES and
SES is what? Have you anything purchased from Flipkart or Amazon?
yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you a
Yes, sir.
simple example. Usually they keep sending the messages, emails to us, right? Saying so and so day, so and so discount sale is going. At least if you purchase something by being in India, if you purchase something wrong, they keep sending emails. Okay, so and so day, so and so are on certain brands the discount is running, so you can just go visit the shops nearby, something like that. So how do they use that? How do they notify? They'll have a repository, okay, of everybody who are visiting their website, any e-commerce site it can be. It can be any e-commerce site or any application that is having users hitting to their application. So they'll have a repository and they'll keep noting whoever are visiting for the first time or repeatedly, or at least if you visit for a single time, they'll just make a note of your email ID, and to that email ID, whatever the offers they have, it's nothing but their business. They wanted to improve their business and then they wanted to know you guys what offers are going with them. So they keep sending the messages, but how is it possible to send such a huge amount of bulk emails to everybody out there? Because in India, if you see, there are millions of population. Okay, so to all of them, that messages should be sent, and that's possible by simple email service, email sending and receiving service. Once you have to just mention the topic, I mean like what is the information, you just have to write and then execute or just say send. It will be sent to all the n number of people out, and they receive that emails at a time. That's what simple email service is, and we are not learning, we are not going to see that more than that. So that's all about simple email service, because we generally don't use it much unless you are going to work for some e-commerce site. Okay,
Okay, sir. So what about the Elastic Transporter,
they're
AppStream,
all those are all not
Global
part of,
Search?
those are all not part of our architect level course. SNS we are going to discuss, don't worry. This other rest of the things, cloud search, AppStream, API gateway, Elastic Transcoder, all these are not part of our this.
So okay, so they come under development.
They come under development, and some come under into sysops level. Okay, there are three different levels of courses we have, and of course, if it is associate, associate architect, associate developer, associate sysops, and after that we
Okay.
have professional courses again. So there are around 6 certification designed in AWS under architect level. Our course is defined whatever we needed. I'm covering each and everything. Okay, so guys, don't worry.
Yeah,
What?
just curious about asking
Yeah,
that, sir. That's it.
no, that's fine. That's totally fine. You can ask me any question. That's not at all a problem. So I'm covering everything you guys needed, and that covers into architect level course. Because if you wanted to learn everything you are able to see here in this management console, that really takes you around 3 to 4 months time, and you need to have a lot of understanding and lot more some other courses. For example, you see here the other day somebody of you only asked me, right, what is Docker? So you need to understand this EC2 container service, you need to understand what is Docker, and Docker is another separate course. And here you see code deploy, automate code deployment. So what do you mean by code deployment? First you need to know what is code. It's nothing but you must need to know either Java or other coding languages. And above that you see code commit, source code in a private Git repository. So Git is a repository that you have to learn about what is Git. That's another course. It's covered in under DevOps tool. One of the DevOps tool it is. So there are so many things you have to learn in this. I mean, like if you wanted to learn so many other things you have to learn. And here you see OpsWorks, automated operation with Chef. Chef is another course. So if you learn Chef, then it will work out with you. How you have to integrate Chef here with this. So automate operations with Chef, that works with OpsWorks. So so many things we have not covered, of course, but those are not part of our solutions architect level course. EMR Elastic Map Reducer, that is with Hadoop, manage Hadoop framework. So that's about big data. So there are so many things. Okay, so I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Fine, but you can ask me anything. If you're really curious to know and you wanted to get a little information, anything about whatever it is, you can still ask me. If I really don't know, I'll openly tell you that I don't know, and then I'll get back to you by Googling it or by finding it from some of my colleagues who knows about it. Because we do have some development team in our cloud, so they may be having an idea about it. So I'll just Google it and get back to you if you wanted to know anything in a little brief.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I'm open to you guys. Anything you can always bug me, up me, anything it is.
Sir, actually, I'm not getting screen like you, sir. Like you are showing all these kinds like you. I'm not getting screen like you.
Just minimize
My
and
screen is,
you minimize and then refresh your thing.
yeah, I'm minimizing and refreshing, but how much minimum it should be?
What?
This like you are showing the screen like everything comes like this, but my screen shows that there is a quick start and the standard shortcuts are recently viewed.
Recently viewed. Our web AWS management console here. I'm not showing something new here today.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah, but
The management
I
console
mean,
showing where we have all the list of services.
yeah, but like this, what? Okay. Anyway, I will show you some because I can see everything, but not like you. It's some different way, in a different way,
Okay,
without the.
that will figure it out after our class is done. Okay,
Yeah, okay,
we'll figure. I'll give you the permission. I'll make you presenter so that you can share your screen and show me what you're trying to tell me. Okay,
yeah, okay,
so fine, fine. That's not a problem, side.
yeah.
Yeah. What else? Simple notification service. I'm so sorry, guys, for this disturbance. The last one is simple notification service. This we are going to say a little practically. Notifications. So, this notification. Let me tell you something. Now, you are a cloud engineer. You have developed or designed an infrastructure in cloud. Okay, maybe a data center. You built a data center in the cloud for your own environment. And in this situation, if something is going down or if something is not properly working or there is some activity going and you need to get to know the status of that rather you be there in the office all the 24 by 7, right? So if there is any such option that you always get the uh, information onto your mobile in terms of a text message or an email into your inbox, that will be very pretty, right? So you can go ahead with your work, your activities, maybe with your personal life, reaching to your home, and then you can still be checking your things, what's happening in your data center, what activity is going what's going down, if something is going down, so that all of a sudden you can just log in and then fix that issue. So that will be very fine, right? So very good, right? So for that reason we have SNS topic created. What is this? What I said about this SQS, it always poll and pull the objects, pull the messages, right? You remember? And here I asked you to remember, guys, poll and pull. That is really important in terms of SQS. But when it is SNS, it is notification. So it pushes all the notifications. So when it is push, remember it is SNS. When it is pull, SQS. Are we clear with that? Yeah, I think Shilpa, I'm not troubling you by extending the classes. I hope it's a week off to you today. You can stay back for some more time till I finish this SNS so that the course can be completed for you guys. Looks like it's okay. No answer, no response. Fine, I'll just continue. I'm wasting time. Yeah, fine. Thank you, thank you. Thanks for your input. So that is what SNS is. Push is nothing but it always pushes the notification, and that notifications will be sent to you only when you subscribe. So whenever you wanted to send some notification to somebody, whether it may be a text message or whether it may be an email to your inbox, always that somebody whoever it is have to subscribe. Only when they subscribe they will get it. They will be getting that every time. Now let me just open my Gmail once and show you, because we're going to do that and I wanted you guys to do that till it gets ready. We'll just see that. So what is that? So simple notification service. Yeah. So push notification service, it is that. So simple notification service is a web service that makes it easy to set up, operate and send notifications from cloud. From cloud they are sent. It provides developers with a highly scalable, flexible and cost-effective capacity to publish messages from an application and immediately deliver them to subscribers or the other applications. That can be either to people who subscribed or to the other applications. Just like we have seen load balancer joined with SNS topic so that it notify autoscaling automatically, so that autoscaling spin up the instances. That's where we used SNS, right? So notifications are sent to them. And excuse me. So it may be to the subscriber or to the other applications. And remember, it always pushes the notifications to all the kind of things like Apple, Google, Fire OS and Windows devices, as well as Android devices. It may be anything your device works on. You will still be able to get notifications. Okay. And in China with Baidu Cloud Push, it seems. I'm not really very sure. I heard it only in this AWS only. For this only I have to remember this. I don't really know what it is actually, but I just memorized this particular statement. I have memorized because in China we use, like how here we use push notifications that automatically SNS works with the cloud and then send the notifications. But in China we have some other technique because they always do something different. So that is Baidu, BAIDU, cloud push. So that is what they use to send notifications. It sends or pushes notifications not only as an email but also as text message on your mobile devices. That's what, as I said. Okay, so that's all. I mean, that's little pretty information about SNS, but it really works a lot for us. And also send notifications to SQS or any HTTP endpoint. Okay, why does it need to send SQS notifications? Because it works with, okay, if there is something going, that's what I said, SQS when combined with um, autoscaling, that will become a powerful environment, as I said. So the same thing here. So it also sends notifications to SQS so that the queue size is increasing or whatever it is, it can just alter and then makes them, based on that it can just take some action what it needs to perform, and can also trigger Lambda functions. You remember what is Lambda, but which we have discussed maybe theoretically. It runs code in response to events. So you have a huge code to be executed. You wanted a platform for that. So the platform is created in Lambda that always works with Java. So you can execute that. So it also triggers Lambda functions. SNS also triggers. SNS allows us to, you know, group multiple recipients. So it's not only for one individually every time. It group multiple recipients or subscribers using the topic. So we have to create topics first. That we are going to do now in soon time. And in order to not to lose the messages, they are stored in multi-agents. So we create some messages and keep them, and they have to trigger whenever that situation arises. So if the message is lost, the situation arises, there will not be any message to trigger, so that will be a problem. So all these messages are stored in multi-agent so that they are safe, and based on the situation they are sent. Now let's just go to SNS. As I said, we have to create topic. So here this is how SNS home, this is how it looks. So create a topic, create a communication channel to send messages, and subscribe to notifications. You wanted to send a text message, create platform application for mobile devices. Subscription, you need to subscribe compulsorily. Publish message, to publish a message to a topic as or as direct publish to a platform endpoint. So you can do anything, but first what we do is we create topics. So let's go to topics, and what are we going to do with the topic name? The topic name is what? Um, let's simply give I'll say my AWS topic, something like that. I'll just, it can be anything. And the display name, what you wanted to mention in the display name is nothing but like subject. I'll say hello. You can mention anything, but that is mentioned as a subject. So now create a topic. I'm just creating here. So simple. The topic is created. Once the topic is created, what we have to do? We have to go create subscriptions. So create a subscriber. Once the subscriber is created, that should be confirmed, which is nothing but when you create the subscriber, that subscriber will be getting a link, and they should click on that link to subscribe from their end. We are initiating the subscriber from this end, and that person should confirm that yes, I'm interested to receive all these messages. I'm okay with subscribing to receive and to receive these messages and all. So they should be ready. That is what the confirmation and actions and all. Now what do we do? We'll say this you can do. So create subscription. This is over HTTP, yes, because we are going to send an email notification. And to whom we are going to send this? Example.com, the endpoint. I'll give here protocol. What I'll take, HTTP or email, whichever you wanted you can take, but I'll take it as an email now. So all these things. Amazon SQS, you can send a notification to notification to Lambda or some other applications, JSON format, email. I'll take email now. So I'll just give my own email ID. Okay, I just gave it. Subscribe. So I'll just get an email. Yeah, I got an email. If you have noticed, it became 6 to 7. So you see, Shrikant, you already sent VPC. Good man. So you see, it's mentioned here. You have chosen to subscribe the topic, that is so and so. And to confirm this subscription, click or visit below link. So this is how you have to say subscription. But before that, let's see. So rather you can do that subscription confirmation from here, or if you have that link or something which it asks, you can either confirm that subscription from here as well. Okay, I mean, rather doing from this end, you can do it from here, from this end as well. And other subscription actions, what we have, you see, you edit subscription delivery policy, subscription attributes, but that we'll just see. So pending confirmation, it's saying pending confirmation, so request confirmation, no need, we'll just go and confirm it. Okay. So music gateway, subscription confirmed, you have subscribed this. Click here to unsubscribe. If you want, you can do that. Now what I'll do, I'll refresh this. See what happens. See, yeah. Once it is subscribed, the complete subscription ID has changed. It was pending subscription, and now it has become subscription ID. So whatever the message you create, I will be getting that message to me. So this is how the SNS topics are created here. Then what happens? Publish to the topic. We have to go to the SNS form and publish to the topic. So go to publish, target, what we have say, topic AR, target ARN, that can be something. So Amazon SMS enables you to publish notifications to all the subscriptions associated with the topic, as well as to an individual endpoint associated with the platform. So what is this? The topic ARN or endpoint to publish the message. So I'll just mention that as what is that? It's just like subject. So I'll take hello simply, or hi this time. What is it? Invalid error. Okay, so here we have to take an error. I'll directly type in. One moment. What is this? Still showing pending. Yeah. So the topic ARN is here. I'll just copy this. It should work, I guess. Yeah. The topic here. So that is the point. Got confused a little with that. And now the subject is then message. What is that? This is something test. This is my first test notification. Something like that. It's 9 o'clock. One moment. Okay, guys. Okay, this is my first test notification. Test notification. So test notification. That's all. So that let it be raw, and TTL will be time to live. How long it should be? Let's take 5 seconds. So 300 seconds, which means 5 minutes. I'm saying publish. What I said publish. It will be published. It's like I got another message. So yeah. Hello. The subject is hi. Hello. That's my name. And from where we send this. So this is my test notification. This is how you receive the messages. Are you clear, guys? How SNS works with? Yeah. Fine. So there are few benefits with this SNS. That is what it is always instantaneous. That's push based delivery. Like we push all the notifications. There is no polling. Remember, polling will never come here in SNS. It will only come in SQS, polling and pulling. Here only pushing. Okay, so that you have to remember. And what else? Simple APIs and easy integration with applications is possible with SNS, and it is flexible with delivery over multiple transport protocols. That's what we have seen: HTTP, yes, email JSON, application, and all. So all those things. Then what else? I'm just deleting it. Then what else? Then it's inexpensive. Then pay as you go. You just pay only when you utilize it. No upfront cost, like of 64 chunks 1 kilo by as one billing cycle, something like that. There is nothing like that. You use, you pay, that's all. And it's actually a web-based management console that offers the simplicity of a point and click interface. Point and click interface. That's what the other thing. I'll delete even these topics as well. Then what else? So there are something we have to compare SN and SQS as well. So remember these points, guys. Both are actually messaging services in in AWS. Messaging services, but both are different from each other. How SNS pushes the notifications, SQS pull and pulls the messages. In SNS, it is 50 cents per 1 million SNS requests. Okay, you use them and you pay. And only 6 cents, okay, only 6 cents for 1 lakh notifications delivers over HTTP. Then 75 cents per 100 notifications delivered over SMS. Okay, then $2 per 1 lakh notifications delivered as emails. So every different notification has different cost. Okay, I'll repeat again. For 1 million SNS request, it is just 50 cents. And if you wanted HTTP, the notifications delivered over HTTP, then it is only 6 cents for 1 lakh notifications. In terms of SMS, text message onto your mobile, then that costs you 75 cents per 100 notifications. Okay, you could also give a mobile number, but I did not give. And if it is just in terms of an email, $2 per 1 lakh email notifications sent. So that is the point here. Fine. So this is all about SNS. Hope you understand what is SNS. What are the other two services we discussed, SQS and SWS. So I'm open to you guys. Anything you wanted to ask me, you can ask me. If not, we'll just go through the rest of the things. Okay. Anything, guys? Could you understand what's what? Good. Need not to mention disabling public IP address. Whether you enable or disable, it doesn't matter. Anything, guys?
So one thing like I forgot how to delete the Windows authentication. I mean